King Mwanga the Great. Chapter 14. While at Kaziba, the missionaries took their time and lectured the king about the British administration. They stated that the king might fail to look at his throne again if he pushed the resistance further. They also advised his soldiers to let go their king because if they continued with their endless support to him, the British administration would treat them as traitors and punish them accordingly. Some of them, like Bakaluba, listened and went back to Buganda, leaving Mwanga too with the missionaries. The king stayed at Kiziba, where Milo Kitankimanyide found him. He had gone to pick the Namirembe missionaries' package. The king inquired about the state of his kingdom, to which Miro replied that the kingdom was still unstable since his departure. However, there was a new king, his son, Chua. He was so shocked, for the new king was too young to rule Uganda, and wondered whether he would grow. Lutaya, who sat next to him, confidently replied that the younger king was to grow, for the throne belonged to him and no one else. From there, the Germans took the king away from Kaziba and exiled him to Mwanga, where he was treated like a prisoner, for he was highly guarded. His die-hard men like Lutaya, Mwanjale, Kintu, and others were with him there. Since many Baganda still believed in him, some from Buddu County managed to reach Mwanga, where the king was. They planned to rescue him. The plot started in the evening, when the king and his men gave the guards alcohol to drink while jazzing. They emptied the bottles. Then the king asked them to let one of the boys go and bring more. Mwanjale went and never came back. When the soldiers complained, the king advised them to send another one to fetch him, but this never returned. King Mwanga II supplied the guards his alcohol the Germans used to serve him, which they greedily took to snore like swine. He slithered to the boats that were already waiting for him. When the guards discovered that the king had escaped, they reported to their German officer, who barked at them to find him. It was late outside, for the anglers were mocking these guards because the great king of Uganda had proved to them that he was the most popular, respected, and treasured man in the region. From Rwansasa Island went to Lwamaua Island and headed to Buliambide. They left this place after some rest to Tabalilo, where they left their boats and went to Chaka, where they met those whom they had left at Bukoba. As soon as eyes set on King Mwanga II, cannons exploded. People were so happy to see him. They praised him so much and swore to die with him. They loved him so much. They encouraged him to fight and promised to stay with him until Mengo. However, the notables at the palace had another view. When they learned about King's return, they deployed a large army commanded by Naluswa to intercept him. The battle broke out at Manya, and this is where Maurice Kinywacyanku was murdered. Through Buddu County, the king crossed Kabula, Maogola, and Buwekula, then joined Omukama Kabalega, a great king of Bunyoro Kingdom. On 12th March 1898, the news reached Mengo, and the British dispatched Stanislas Mugwanya to lead a stronger force with Major Price, Captain Fowler, Captain Sitwell, and Foster. A big Indian army accompanied these. During this war, King Mwanga II's gladiator called Chambade was shot dead. By this time, Mwanga II had entered Bunyoro, having crossed Kawanga in Buwekula County to Bujuni, then Buziba, and finally reached Igaram. King Kabalega had sent Prince Kalubanga to welcome him, and the two met at Koba, near Kirimbi and Nkuse. King Mwanga II was escorted by Daniel Sematimba Kaggo, a county chief of Chaddondo called Sepiria Mutagwanya, the county chief of Buwekula, Matthew Mujasi, Gabriel Kintu, Mame Mukanga, Twaibu Magatto, Moses Kasolo, Chambade, Kezia Luwere, Namutegere, and many others from different parts of Buganda. The rebellion spread to different parts of Buganda Kingdom as the natives were tired of the British rule and fought hard to sweep them out of their land. The king got support from the neighboring nations, including nobles, Kahits, Igumira, Manyans, and others of Ankole Kingdom. Leaders of Busoga, Zibondo, Gabula, Motanda, son of Wakoli, Nabusi, and Nkono. Many Muslims from Busoga joined the movement. Then King Kabalega the Great of Bunyoro joined. Mwanga too tried to communicate to Mengo leaders. He wrote many letters to Apollo Kagwa explaining that he was not fighting against Christians but the Europeans colonialists, and if there was a possibility of negotiations, he would sit on a round table with them. Kagwa connived with the British colonial masters and persuaded Mwanga II to meet Andrew Luwandaga, Kagwa's in-law, who acted as a go-between them. In this operation, Semei Kakungulu was handed who handed them over to the British government, captured the king of Buganda, Mwanga II, and the king of Bunyoro, Kabalega. The British executed General Louis Katabalwa, the commander-in-chief of the King Mwanga's army, immediately. Many Muslims from Busoga were captured and killed the same day, including Nabusi. The British administrators slaughtered many people who were fighting for their rights like nothing. Some people were set free. However, Katabalwa was assassinated because he had inspired most of the people in the kingdom to rebel against the whites. This made the resistance extremely strong and complex to suppress. The two kings were moved to Kampala on foot in heavy rain that fell for over 10 hours. They walked around Kampala, and Sebayiga carried Mwanga's luggage. King Kabalega was carried a few steps behind Mwanga II, who was not allowed to meet his close relatives. He was taken to the Prime Minister's quarters, from where he was shaved, then baptized Daniel, and was given a Bible. From there, Mwanga and Kabalega were taken to Kazi, then exiled incognito out of their kingdoms. On their way, Mwanga II requested to meet his soldiers in captivity, for he missed them a lot. They were John Waswa, Kayima, Mukwenda, and Mika Sematimba. He broke down into tears, having seen their uncouth mistreatment, as they also wailed, for they never expected their king to be demeaned like this. After some time, Mwanga's men were set free and went back to Buganda. When the 1900 Buganda Agreement was signed, many of the Bugandan notables shared huge chunks of land. When John Waswa Mukwenda was called upon to take his share, he turned the offer down. He could not betray his king after what they had gone through. However, his brother Senkezi managed to secure him something. The kings were exiled to Sicily's islands on Indian Ocean, where they lived until 8th May 1903, when King Daniel Basamula Mwanga died at the age of 35. His body had swollen and could not walk. Around 7 years after his death, Mwanga's body was brought to Buganda and buried in the tomb Muzibu Azala Mpanga at Nabulagala Kasubi, near the body of his father Mukabya Walugembe Mutesa on 2nd, 1910. On that day, Prince David Chwa became a full king of Buganda Kingdom. There were other princes in Buganda, however. Chwa won Prince Musanje Walugembe of Kalema at 70 to 30 votes, respectively, when the Buganda Parliament sat. King Mwanga II had other children like Yusuf Suna, Toby, Mariam Mazzi, Luwede, and others. In conclusion, King Daniel Basamula Mwanga was the last king of Buganda to hold the title His Majesty. His rule was one of the most eventful in the history of Buganda and Africa. He succeeded the throne at the time foreigners had brought confusion in the Buganda Kingdom with hidden intentions. The fact that he managed to rule alongside the Europeans and realized their dark side, then chose to resist against them numerous occasions, made him a great hero, a true African nationalist whose name deserves honor and respect. He always put it down: I am not fighting against religion, because everyone is free to choose what they believe in, but I am fighting against the British colonialists, and I want them to leave our country and go back to their country. Mwanga too died because of fighting for his nation and people. The end. Ssemyalo, Ronald.